All right, so this week, first we'll start with a little warm-up activity with the food items on the screen. We're just going to name them, and we're going to talk about if we like them or not using gustar. Then we're going to go back over the pour and para rules we did last week. We did these 2 slides, right? Do a little exercise on it. Add a couple more rules to it. And then turn our attention to gustar, right? So let's start first with the vocabulary that's on the screen. What can we name? What food items do you recognize, and what can you say in Spanish? I bet we could say this one in Spanish. Okay, las fritas. Or you might want to put in las papas fritas, right? What about this guy over here with his mustache? Who's he? Yeah, sure. Sorry, I'll put the English underneath. All right, so this is fries, right? All right. What about que la hamburguesa? Let me use a different color. To see. All right, so the hamburger. Come on, guys. What else can we name? El pollo, good. How is the pollo cooked? Just like the fries. It is fried, right? So hamburger, right? Pollo is going to be el pollo frito. All right. Nuggets is just nuggets, right? We won't say it as nuggets. We'll say los. Oh, sorry. Yes, the fried chicken, I forgot. For the English, right? Los nuggets, I guess, de pollo. Or of whatever other meat we make nuggets from, right? So I have 2 hamburgers on this diagram. I think I do. Yeah. All right. What about this thing on the left, this food on the left here? El sandwich, which is fine. Right? But there's also el bocadillo. Right? Which is the sandwich. All right, what else didn't we name? Sandwich. Right, sandwich. Okay, we didn't name The most obvious one. Come on, guys, what is this guy over here with the mustache? Who is he? El Taco, right? El Taco. Right? And this is just the taco. Quesadilla would be quesadilla. Other foods that already have Spanish names would be the same, right? All right, what didn't we name? How do we say pizza? Now, if I Google nuggets, if I put if I put chicken nuggets into no, if I put chicken nuggets into Google Translate, I will get nuggets de pollo, right? But if I just put nuggets, I might get a different word. I might get pepitas. But in that sense, nuggets, the dictionary thinks you mean like a small piece of something, like a pumpkin seed, right? Or any kind of seed. So when you Google words that, well, when you Google words, look and see the similar words. And the similar words will tell you if you're on the right track or not. Right? All right, pizza is also pizza. La pizza. And what is hot dog? Literally, it translates as the hot dog, right? So el perro caliente. Yeah, you have to specifically put chicken nugget to get the translation. Nuggets alone will give you pepita. Sometimes it's literal, like hot dog is literally hot dog, right? Dog that is hot. But sometimes it's not. So just remember that and do what you can to check your answer. All right, so all of these are examples of what kind of food? Fast food, right? How do we say that in Spanish? It's a literal translation this time again. So fast food is literally la comida rápida. Right? Okay, a minute to finish noting whatever you need to. All right, so let's go ahead here now. Okay, so let's go back to por and para. And just revise the few rules that we did, right? So you should have two lists in your notebook, right? And you probably have some space. So first uses of pour. So when you're moving throughout a region, you're going I don't know, left or right, north to south, wherever, within a particular neighborhood, within your school, within your home, we use por, right? So through the park was por el parque. If you're going through one place to get to another, so you have to pass through Chin Chin to get to Madras, or you have to pass through Chaguanas to get to the highway, right? So this one, in this case, to Mexico by or via New York or Nueva York. So you're passing through New York, right? Then we use para in relation to place. If we're headed to that place, that's where we're going to end up. That's the destination, right? So we're going to Mexico, para Mexico. Now, of course, you could say voy a Mexico as it does down here. But there's another way that it's often said in Spanish that you should also be able to use, right? There was another example down there, but it's the same point. And then we talked about time. For how long something lasts, right? I didn't put any bold here, but I sleep for 2 hours. Duermo por 2 horas. They sleep in the afternoon, por las tardes. So that's duration of time, right? But when you're talking about a deadline and when something is due by or must be completed by, we use para. So this is for that deadline. I have to finish my exam by 2 o'clock, for 2 o'clock, para las dos. Homework is due Sunday, para el domingo, right? All right. Here's a practice exercise for us. I want you to take a look and decide where you're going to put por and where you're going to put para. If you want to write any questions, you'll have to do it quickly, right? So, mi hermana y yo estudiamos something los tardes. Oh, that should be last tarde, sorry. Let's fix that one time. Did I fix it? No, it's still, oh, what is going on here? Right. Right, so my sister and I study in the evening. Voy a estudiar something 3 horas. I'm going to study for 3 hours. So ask yourself, what is happening with time in 1 and 2? Based on that, you'll know if it's por para that you need for 1 and 2, right? Tengo que terminar mis estudios something las 5 de la tarde. So I have to finish my studies something. Well, I have to finish studying for 5 p.m., right? At 5 o'clock but I want you to use either por or para to complete it, right? So let's try the first 3. Yeah, let's try the first 3, which have to do with time. Look back at your notes or use what you remember and decide whether 1, 2, and 3 get por or para. And you can put your answer in the chat. All right, so mi hermana y yo estudiamos por las tardes, right? Why? What is the reason? Duration. Right, we study in the evenings when something happens. Voy a estudiar por 3 horas, right? So this for sure, I'm going to study for 3 hours. The studying is going to last 3 hours. That also tells us duration, right? All right, number 3, tengo que terminar mis estudios. I have to stop my studies by 5 o'clock. This is a deadline, right? If you have to do it by 5 p.m., you have a time, that's a deadline. So then that will be para. Okay. Does anybody want more time for 4 through 6? Some people have sent all their answers, but does anybody want more time? Okay, so 6 has 2 parts, right? Okay, so 1 minute again. Salgo de la casa, I am leaving home for school in an hour. So school is what? Am I passing through school or is school my destination? I'm going to school, right? It's my destination, right? So therefore, if it's destination and where I'm headed, I use para. Okay, let's look at the next one. Paso something parte de español fin del día escolar. So I pass through Port of Spain at the end of the school day, after school, right? Is Port of Spain my destination? It's not my destination, right? It's where I'm going through. Right, so paso por. Good. Right, all right. Now this next one. I'm going to Mayaro via Valencia, through Valencia. So to Mayaro, Mayaro is the destination, right? But this is the via, the through. So Valencia gets a por, but Mayaro gets para, right? So voy para Mayaro for Valencia. Now, in reality, when non-native speakers are saying these things, generally, they don't go first to voy para Mayaro. They say voy a Mayaro. We say voy a Mayaro, right? But it exists and we should use it. But we could use it, right? Good. So para for the first one and por for the second one. Anybody has a question? Clearly, this exercise was too easy, and next week I will work on that. Ha 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 ha. All right. Are y'all doing anything for Halloween? Perhaps not on the Thursday if you observe Diwali, but on another day or in school. Okay, I'm clear. I'm ready to clear this away. Anybody still using the screen? I still want to hear about Halloween plans if anybody has any. Has anybody in Trinidad been to the zoo at Halloween? Is it worth going? Do you recommend it? Eastgate had a haunted house? When did they have a haunted house? I need to read news to find out these things. All right, so I'm clearing the screen, right? Okay, I don't know why I did that. We could just go to the next slide from here. Right. All right. So we're talking about something for someone, right? When we're giving things to someone, or when we're saying for someone, it's for someone. Let me change this to sorry if you're writing, right? By, on behalf of, and for someone, right? So these three things actually that we're going to cover here. So you don't necessarily need the heading because you were making a list, right? So you could just add to the respective list. Sorry, the para is coming up first. Let me just, yeah. All right. So just ignore number 3, pretend number 3 is not there. And right, by whom and something done for someone as a replacement. So like somebody couldn't do it and the other someone does it for them. Your friend can do something, so you do it for them. We use por, right? If you're saying something that was done by someone, by whom, whomever it was done by, we use por, right? So dinner was prepared by my parents. La cena fue preparada por mis padres, right? So by my parents, this is the by whom, right? And guys, feel free to shorten the note. I taught the class for her, she was sick. Enseñé la clase por mi amiga, for my friend. She was sick, estuvo enferma. I'm changing this to my friend, right? So that the translation will match. So like if you were in a restaurant and you had to order for someone, you would say that you would use pour, yeah, pour a, right? All right, that's the first rule. And since the other para rule is up one time, we could discuss it for the fast writers. So this is pour. So if you do something for someone, like you're giving something for someone, right? They will receive it. This is for pour here, and over here is para, right? All right. So the person is receiving what you did. And I'm putting receives in quotation marks because sometimes it's a thing, but sometimes it's an action that was done for them, right? So it's as though they are the destination. This thing is headed to them and they are the destination, right? Okay, so the gift is for my nephew. El regalo es para mi sobrino, right? For my nephew, I'm giving it to him. The gift isn't going anywhere after that. I wrote a letter for Carlos. So in this case, the letter is going to Carlos, right? So para Carlos. If Carlos couldn't write for some reason and you had to write it on his behalf, it would be por Carlos. Here you are, right? But this time the letter is going to him. So para. All right, and just as with the other side, there's another example here to show both of them at work, right? La fiesta fue organizada por la profesora. So this means on her behalf, right? Sometimes it helps when you're trying to figure out if to put in por and para to put in these little phrases, right? So if you could say on the person's behalf, then it's por. Para su clase, right? They are the destination. They are the receivers, right? To be given to her class. Okay, so if you want the additional example, you could take it. All right, some people are still writing. We're gonna go through this verb gustar. So how to use gustar, right? In English, Gabriel, I'll go back to the break, right, Gabriella? In English, we use the verb I like, right? But in Spanish, we use the verb gustar. And on top of that, the sentence is organized a little bit differently. So normally in English, well, and also in Spanish, sometimes, right? We have the subject and the verb and the object, right? So we say, I am the subject, like, what do I like? Let's say I like pizza, which is a lie. I actually do not like pizza, right? So subject, verb, object. And here's another example. I eat pizza, right? Also a lie, I don't really eat pizza. Yes, I know, it's always traumatic for students. Okay, so in Spanish, you would say, yo como la pizza. So we're not talking about object pronouns, right? We're talking about the object of the verb. Whatever it is receiving the action of the verb. So in Spanish, I eat pizza, right? Object comes after the verb. Right. Now, when it comes to gustar, a little magic gets worked and things change, right? So gustar, although we translate it as to like, we kind of just write, I like your gusto la pizza, right? It works differently because gustar really means to be pleasing, right? Those of you who've done gustar, did you learn it this way in school? Or did your teacher just show you the way to conjugate it? to be pleasing, right? So instead of saying I like pizza, I would have to say the pizza is pleasing to me. So this is the first slide that I'd like you to write down. Sure, I'll go back to the last one. This one. Right, but please note that this is a big fat wrong. 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 Not right. Right? Very wrong. Did I mention that? Wrong. Right? This is not how we use gustar. All right, can we go ahead? All right, so let's go ahead. Right, so this is the first slide I'd like you to take down, right? And you could shorten it if you like, but you need to note that gustar really means to be pleasing, right? And the English example, pizza is pleasing to me. Oh, the lies I have to tell, right? Like, I would rather eat bread and cheese than pizza, seriously. Anybody else feel that way? Yes, yes, you are my people. I have friends. Yes. Bread and cheese is the best. Pizza, eh. Right. Okay, so we're noting a very basic but important idea that gustar doesn't actually mean like, even though that's how we translate it. It means to be pleasing. Do I have the, no, I don't have the Spanish one. All right. Okay, everybody has this noted? Okay, can I change the slide? If I cannot change the slide, tell me. Okay, I can change the slide, right? Good. Okay, so I'll tell you when to write, right? So gustar is a backward verb. It works in reverse. So the subject comes at the end of the sentence. Gustar comes in front of the subject. Okay, I'm going back for 1 second. If you know, I don't know, sometimes it's hard to type a message depending on the device you're using. You could always just raise your hand when I ask the question, and I'll take that as a yes to whatever I'm asking, right? And I'll try not to ask 2 questions at the same time. Okay. Right. So, the subject, the thing, I guess doing the action goes at the end of the sentence, and gustar comes in front of it. And the indirect object pronoun comes first, right? So it comes like this. To me is pleasing pizza. This is what the sentence would look like in English. You're not writing as yet, right? But I just want you to, well, you could take down the yellow sentence. Right? You could take this one down. And then you note, and then you can put it in quotation marks. To me, pizza is pleasing pizza. So when we actually write it in Spanish, if we translated it literally in English, this is what we would be saying. To me is pleasing pizza. Right? Now, why is that important to know? Because verbs have to agree, and because you always have to put in the indirect object pronoun at the front, right? And also, the verb is not agreeing with the thing at the front. The verb will have to agree with the subject, which is really at the end of the sentence, right? So that is why it's important to know. All right, so everybody has taken down, well, let me add a little bit here, right? So I'm gonna write in yellow. I don't need you to write down what is in white, but I'm gonna write in yellow. So indirect, you could also write yours underneath where you have more space, right? Indirect object pronoun plus gusta or gustan plus the thing that is pleasing, right? Slash real subject, because a subject is what is doing the action, right? So if this phrase makes sense to you, write it down. But if you don't know what a subject, if when I say real subject, it confuses you, leave it out, right? But basically it's the thing that is doing the pleasing, right? So when you write your gustar sentences, or when you say your gustar sentences, this is the structure it will take. The indirect object pronoun first, which will be me, or it could be you, or it could be to them, or it could be to us, right? Or to it, or to him, or to her. And then either gustar or gustan. So we only ever use gustar in these two persons. And then finally we will put in the sentence the thing that is pleasing to us. Does not match, does not need an equal sign. How dare you bring up that terrible word? I'm kidding. All right, so I'm waiting for you. I would like you to note these things in yellow, right? And also to understand the structure. So if you're still confused about it, tell me. So when we use gustar, we're not using it like how we use the other verbs in the normal order, right? We start off by saying to me, to him, to her, to it, to you, to them, to Enrique, to Mercedes, right? Whatever the indirect object pronoun is. Gustar or gustan. We only use gustar in those two persons, third person singular or third person plural, because the thing could only be one thing or more than one thing. So it can only be singular or plural, right? And then finally, the third part of the sentence is the thing that is pleasing to us. Okay, everybody has that noted? Anybody is still writing? Everybody's done, right? All right, so why don't we take our break here? And then when we come back, we will continue with some examples. All right, next step in the process. Well, we mentioned just now, Paul mentioned too, that we are dealing with indirect object pronouns at the start of the sentence, right? So ordinarily, when you guys start a sentence, you might just use the verb, for example, escribo, I write, hablas, you talk, etc. Or you might start it, you don't need to write any of this, huh? You might start it with yo, or tú, or él, or ella, usted, nosotros, right? Usually that's how you start a sentence. For gustar, none of that. None of that. None of that. Throw that out the window. No, no, no. Right? Instead, we start with indirect object pronouns, right? Which we have none together yet, but we'll do them for this purpose, right? Me, and we're not gonna take care on os because that is vosotros, and that's not on the CSEC syllabus anymore. So me, to me, to, for. That's what it normally means, right? It's the first person singular, right? So when your instinct is to write yo, what you really need to write is me with Gustav, right? Te, to, for, I mean, I guess you could also say at there. At you, right? This is second person singular. And if you prefer to write this in a table going down, you could, that's okay. Instead of this 3 and 3. Lay, now here it gets fun. To him, to her, to it, to you. Formal, right? Everything that you would usually look to a third person conjugation for, third person singular conjugation for. You could draw the table now. But like I said, you have a choice. You could go straight down, or you could put it how it is going across, but you'd have this space, it wouldn't be balanced, right? So this is third person singular. Also, you don't even need to use a table, right? You could just write a list. All right, then we come to nos, which is to us, for us, at us, right? First person plural, right? When it comes to postal trust, but nope. And then third person plural. Right? To them, to you in the sense of ustedes, right? So whenever we are writing a sentence with gustar, we would need to start the sentence with one of these. This would have to go in front of gustar. Well, gustar, gustan, right? So it's the indirect object pronoun plus gustar, gustan plus the thing that is pleasing to us. Right? All right, give me a minute. All right. Okay, so now let's actually get to some sentences with gustar, right? So remember we said it's the pronoun, the object pronoun, indirect object pronoun, plus gustar, plus the subject, right? So I like pizza is pleasing to me, which is me gusta la pizza, right? So just for this first one, well, you already have the sentence written down above, right? So you could probably you already wrote this down earlier. So you could probably just make a note of this one, right? And if you feel like this is helpful to you, you could write it down, but I think I gave it to you already before. I think you already have this, right? So probably all we need from the side is me gusta la pizza. Right? So me is the indirect object pronoun, or IOP, as we're calling it. Gusta is gustar. And la pizza is the subject, the thing that is doing the pleasing, right? Now, gusta is third person singular because pizza is one thing. When pizza becomes more than one thing, we would add n to make it third person plural, make the verb third person plural. Right, can we change? It's just one sentence from here that you need, right? So I'm counting to 10 and we're continuing. All right. Okay, so some more examples. Te gusta la pizza? Nos gusta la pizza? Les gusta la pizza? So translate these with me. What is te gusta la pizza? What does this one mean? So I'm gonna name this number 2 because the other one was 1. Right, so this number 1 is you like pizza, right? But literally it means, so I'm just pointing out the structure. You have to write down the literal translation, right? To you, did I say me just now? To you is pleasing the pizza, right? Right? Right. What about the next one? What does nos gusta la pizza mean? Right. We like pizza, right? And then les gusta la pizza. They like pizza. So which one is missing? Right? But literally this means to us is pleasing the pizza. To them, or it could be to you, ustedes, is pleasing the pizza. Right? The one that's missing is le gusta la pizza, which could be the le is ambiguous, right? Without something else to clarify. We don't know if it's to him, to her. If it's he likes pizza, she likes pizza, it likes pizza. You who stayed formal likes pizza. We don't know, right? So I'll just put he likes pizza for now, right? He/she likes pizza, right? All right. Any questions about these? No, not this week, but next week we will learn how to convey, because you always have to include the lay, right? You can't put in, you have to put in an indirect object pronoun. So sorry, you don't have to include the lay. You could say and the person's name. No, you have to include the lay. Right. You always have to include the indirect object pronoun. So, but you can explain further who it is by putting in a name or another preposition. But that's for next week. All right, so we're taking down these examples. Okay. Ready to, I can change the slide? 1 more minute. Okay. Okay. So let us we want to use these sentences, right? Oh, let's talk about a plural one time. All right. So pizza is one thing, right? But if we're talking about more than one thing that we like, so if the subject is plural, we still a subject even though it's at the end of the sentence, right? So now we're talking about tacos. It becomes gustan, right? So me gustan los tacos, right? So tacos are pleasing to me. I like tacos, right? So to me, are pleasing tacos, right? You like biscuits, right? So to you, again, are pleasing biscuits, right? And in simple terms, you like biscuits. So again, when the thing that we like is plural, so if the subject is plural, right? This is plural, this is plural. We have to add a corresponding N to make the verb plural, right? because in Spanish, we change the verb to reflect what it's agreeing with, right? We like eggs. They like fries. All right, so we, sorry, to us, not to we. And this is to them. Well, it could be to you formal, right? All right, so we like eggs. They like fries. All right, so S corresponding N, S corresponding N. Okay, you could choose a couple examples. You'd have to take down on 4. And you don't need to write in the English unless you really want to, right? But not more than a minute here, please. I guess we still have time. It's 7 minutes to 6. All right. So I guess I could give you 2 minutes. Let's clear this away. And let's go to this cool worksheet with pretty pictures. It's not a worksheet, it's a vocab sheet. All right. So these are some words to describe food. And this is courtesy of Spanish Learning Lab, right? All right, now where is this going? Well, all of this is part of my mastermind project here. We're going to talk about what we like to eat, what we don't like to eat, and why. Right? All right, so these are some descriptors for foods, things we eat. So let's see if we can figure it out. If something is salada, what does that mean? Y'all can see the writing, by the way, or is it too small? Everybody can see it, right? Right, good. Salty. Too small. All right, hold on. I can make it a little bigger. Okay, great. So salada, salty. Okay, what is saludable? What does saludable look like? We have avocado, carrots, apple, lettuce, probably some cheese, potato, maybe it's a potato. I can't tell. But fruits and vegetables. So saludable. It is a salad. It is a healthy salad. So saludable is healthy. So you might like food because it is healthy. Okay. Then we have down here, we have fea, horrible. So you can probably recognize horrible here. And you might know fea from ugly, right? Fea means ugly. So if we're saying that the food is ugly, what are we really saying? Yes, it's disgusting. It tastes bad. It's horrible. Terrible. I'm just gonna put terrible, right? But I know, so it doesn't look good. Now, these are all adjectives to describe comida, right? So you'll notice the N and A, some of them, fea, salada, because they're agreeing with a feminine noun, right? All right. What do you think amarga is? Hot will be caliente. Amarga is bitter. Good. So something is bitter, amarga. All right. I'm gonna use a different color for the second row. What do you think pegajosa is? Can you make out what that is? It looks kind of like a sweet with a soft center. So this one is sticky. Yeah, sticky. All right. What is this expression? Comida chatarra. It is chips. It's junk food. Good. Unusual expression, right? Well, a pack of chips is a good example of junk food. Sad to say. It's like my favorite snack. All right. Caliente. Everybody should recognize as hot. Right. What is cruda? Raw. So perhaps you could order something and it might not be cooked properly. So it's raw, right? Okay. Deliciosa, we should recognize as delicious, right? All right, dulce or pseudo is sweet. Or yeah, like glazed, sugar is added. Yeah. All right. Grasosa, comida grasosa. Greasy food, fatty food. Okay. Bien cocinada. This is the opposite of cruda, right? So, well done, well cooked, well prepared. Let me change done to cooked. All right. Okay. Then we have our last bit column over here. Instantanea. So this is instant. Anybody likes ramen? This is a form of comida instantanea. Right. Picante. So this is spicy. Fria helada. This is cold slash frozen. Right. And crujiente. Crunchy, right? Crunchy. Okay, good. Right. So when we are saying what we like and what we don't like, we can give a reason for why. Right? It's an extra E here. Instance. Right. So we want to answer the question, and I'm gonna write it on the slide here now. There's a version of the question down here too. ¿Qué tipo de comida te gusta? But I am asking you, and I'm putting it there. ¿Te gusta? Because this is what we were doing. La comida rápida, right? And then I'm asking you, ¿por qué Y, C, O, no. So down here, I can put in my accents. In the chat, I can't, right? And if you are answering, you're saying, the first set of answers that came in was C, right? Sí me gusta la comida rápida porque es deliciosa, people said, y picante, right? No, it doesn't say on here that it's fast, but you could say that porque es rápida, y conveniente, right? It's fast and convenient. All right. Also, if you're saying no, then we would say no, no me gusta la comida rápida. So I would like you to take down the no sentence too, right? It's just to put a no in front of it. No, nothing too fancy. Porque es, and then we choose our words, whatever we want to see. Es grasosa, no es saludable, es, what else we have here? Salada, es fea, es amarga. Well, it wouldn't be bitter, right? So it's grasoso, grasosa, because it's agreeing with Mina. Okay, I'm running out of space, so I'm gonna put a full stop here. But you could add something if you want. Yeah, salada y grasosa, right? Make sure it agrees with comida. So if it has the O, it has to turn to an A. Right, and we're using ser with it to imply this is a quality of the food, right? Okay, so let's just recap what we did for class today. We looked at some vocabulary for fast food. We talked about por and para. We reviewed what we did last week with time and location in relation to por and para. And then we added it today in terms of people's actions that are done for others. Next week, we're going to continue with por and para. We have to talk about para in order to express opinions, right? We also talked about today gustar. So we went over how we form sentences with gustar. Next week, we do more practice with that in relation to food, right? Anybody has any topic they need to revise for school? And they want to say? Okay, if you do have a topic you need to revise, please let me know as soon as you know, right? Traveling. All right, when you say traveling, anything in particular, like for example, being in the airport, pets. Oh my God, sorry. I have pets ready. We'll do pets next week for sure. And we can talk about what pets we like and why. Right. So when you say traveling, what does that mean? Making reservation in the airport? Anything else? Like making reservations or sightseeing or travel is a big topic. So if your school is doing a special part of the topic, we could fit that in. Anything else? The travel agency. All right. Okay, any grammar topics anybody needs to review for school? Okay, so once you're done with your list and you've written down your 2 sentences, you guys are free to go ahead, right? Enjoy the rest of your night.